a sense of community when you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me.
Hello, everyone. Well, you know how much I love hearing about other people and how they come to do what they do in their lives and the journeys that took them or has taken them. So my guest today from Winnipeg to Penticton, BC. How cool is that? Time to meet David Korinetz. Korinetz, right. Hi, David.
Hi.
As I'm pronouncing your last name, I'm thinking, did I say it right? I do that all the time, by the way.
Close enough, better than most.
Good, thanks. You know what, I was thinking about it. I'm an interviewer. I should learn how to pronounce people's names, right? But I find as I get older, I have more of a difficult time. Anyway, enough about that. So I want to talk about your journey from Winnipeg to Penticton. Like, what were you doing in Winnipeg?
Oh, well, I was working for Bristol Aerospace there for 19 years. They're actually owned by Rolls-Royce at the time.
Oh, so what did they do?
Well, they did a lot of things. They did lots of mostly for the aircraft and aerospace industry. They manufactured a lot of parts. They also worked on aircraft, overhauling them. That's where I worked. I was in the aircraft division.
Okay, cool.
And I started there as an aircraft mechanic. I did that for about 7 years. Then I switched to avionics technician. I did that for about 4 years. And then I was on field crews. I traveled around to military bases, installing guided missile detection systems in helicopters.
Wow.
And then I got put upstairs where I was doing estimating and coming up with costs to do repair jobs. And I actually had to go look at crashed aircraft, stuff like that.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that must have been interesting and hard at the same time.
Yeah, it was. And then I was going through a change of life there. I got a divorce, got remarried, then decided to head to BC.
What made you decide to go to BC, to come to BC rather?
That's what she wanted to do.
Okay. Happy wife. So now when you came to BC, what did you start a new career?
Yeah, first we went to Vancouver Island, in Nanaimo on Vancouver Island. And for the first year, it kind of took a year off and then started using up all my funds. So then I had to get a job. So I was interested in programming. I had taken some programming courses in Winnipeg. So yeah, I got a job as a computer programmer. And then I did that for the next 15 years. But we ended up, had to go back to Winnipeg for a short time. Her mother was sick. So we went back there and then she passed away. But we didn't go back to the island. I was happy with that. I found it's too damp and hard on my hands and things. So we came to Penticton, where the climate was pretty good.
No, I know you're an author, correct?
Yes.
When did you start writing?
I started writing about 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I took a course actually through Writer's Digest, but this is pre-online stuff. I took a mail correspondence course. So I would get my assignment. I would complete my assignment. I would mail it to my instructor. He would mark it all up with a blue pencil, mail it back to me. So there was like a 3-week delay, right? But it worked for me. It was pretty good.
Okay, good.
And that's got me started. Actually, 3 of my assignments were the cores of 3 of the chapters in the book, in my first book. That I got them here. This is
good, yeah.
This is my first book.
Fire Drakes.
Fire Drakes.
So what is Fire Drakes about?
It's a fantasy novel. Closest would be along the lines of Lord of the Rings kind of stuff.
Nice.
A little bit lighter, a lot more fun. I actually did the cover as well.
You did? So you're an artist?
Yeah, I was painting before I was writing.
Oh, fascinating.
But I kind of gave it up to write.
Right, okay.
And then I had to pull the paint stuff out and use it again to make covers and stuff.
But that's a nice cover. I like that.
This is the new one. This had the print run for this sold out last year. And I was in the Philippines for the winter. And while I was there, I did some paintings. This was one of them. And my second book, which is this one here, This is going to be out of print. I got about 50 copies left or something. Then it will be out of print probably the end of this year.
Is that another fantasy?
Yes, it's in the series.
Okay.
There's 5 of them. This is book 3.
Halfling. Oh,
Halfling, and then I didn't do that one, the cover. And this is book number 4, a Warlock.
all right.
And then this cover, I did paint. This was done during COVID, so I ended up doing this cover
Cool.
because I couldn't connect with my artist who did the last 2, and so I ended up doing this one.
But it's nice.
And it kind of
sorry.
got me back into the artwork again.
Yeah, I'm just thinking it's nice that you can do your own covers.
Yeah, well, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And I actually have the paintings here. These are the 2 I did in the Philippines. I've got a painting done for the next book as well.
Okay.
So when it sells out, this is the one you just saw. This is
Right.
the original painting. This will be the new cover when book 2 runs out and I have to reprint. That's going to be the new cover.
All right.
So I had fun doing those while I was there. It rained a lot in the winter, and so I had lots of time to paint.
Something, right? That's pretty cool. So I have to just go back to the Philippines for a second. So how long were you in the Philippines?
Well, I've been there twice. The last time was for 4.5 months.
Okay.
I went in October. I came back in March.
Oh, it sounds so nice.
Yeah, it's too hot in the summer. It's hot enough there in the winter.
Yeah.
Like December, January were beautiful. It was 26 degrees and mostly sunny, sometimes raining, but it was perfect for me. But when I got there in October, it was like 36, 37 degrees, 97% humidity.
Oh,
In the first 3 weeks, I ended up with prickly heat.
with what?
Prickly heat.
Prickly heat.
I was covered in a red rash.
That happened to me years ago when I went to Barbados.
Yeah, you know why? What causes it is that it's so humid, you sweat to cool down.
Right.
So you get all this moisture on you. And it's so humid that moisture doesn't evaporate.
Oh,
It doesn't cool you down. It just sits on your skin. The salt collects, plugs all of your pores,
Yeah.
and they turn red and swollen, and you got what they call the prickly heat, right?
okay. I was itchy all over. Were you itchy?
Yes. Oh, that's why they call it prickly heat. It just itches. And I had it all over my chest, all over my arms, all over my back. Then I discovered I need to wear less clothes.
Well, what happened, I had to totally stay out of the sun when I was in Barbados, because it only made it worse when I was in the sun for whatever reason. Actually, I was told I had sun poisoning, but it sounds so similar to what you had. So I'm not.
It might be their version of what they call in the Philippines prickly heat.
Yeah, for sure. So interesting, though. But anyway, getting back to what you do now, you eventually founded a book distribution company.
Yes, I did that. Well, the story goes like this. In 2009, I was working for a software company. And in 2008, of course, we had the big crash. And so that was affecting their business. So by 2009, they were no longer being profitable. So one thing they did is they got rid of their support department, and they opened one in the Philippines,
Okay.
in Cebu, because it was much cheaper to operate it there. They could have more people for less money.
Right.
So that's one thing they did. And then they got the rest of the employees, like the programmers. At the time, I was doing technical writing for them. And they said, we need you all to take a $10,000 cut in pay. I said, no. So they said, we're going to lay you off. I says, well, okay. So they laid me off because I'd already been thinking about starting my own business and things like that. And of course, that ended up with a separation as well.
Okay.
Because my second wife at the time thought this was a good time to say goodbye since I was not working.
Oh, perfect outcome.
Anyway, it worked out because I moved into a very small little cheap bachelor apartment to get my costs down.
Mhm.
And then I took community futures to learn what I needed to do to start this business, and also to get I was able to collect unemployment insurance and run a business.
Okay.
See, I would have had to given up my unemployment at the time because I was laid off collecting.
Mhm.
And if I just start a business, well, I can't collect unemployment, and the business didn't make any money for the first 2 years.
Yeah.
So, but going through Community Futures, I was allowed to basically collect and make money,
Good.
which was a good deal for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but by the that covered my first year. The second year, I took out the bunch of RSPs that I had. And that got me through the second year. Now by the third year, now I was actually making a salary. So, and I retired from that in 2019. I broke the business up. Nobody wanted to take it over here in Penticton. So I broke it in 3 pieces and sold pieces to other people.
Oh, very good. Wow. So then, and the name of that company was Red Took Books.
Red Toque Books, yeah.
All right, very interesting. Now that was for Canadian authors only, correct?
Yes, and that was one of the reasons I kept it quite small. I had lots of interest. I had, especially from England, I had a publisher there. They had 200 titles they wanted me to take on. And that would have meant I would have had to hire, I would have had to move to a larger facility and all that. And I said, you know what, I'm 60 something years, 61 or 62 at the time. I don't think I want to go down that road.
Yeah.
So I just stayed with the Canadian, but I did run a writing contest for 7 years.
That's cool.
Canadian only, right? So I ran this Canadian. I've actually got, one second.
All right. Just a second, folks. He's going to be right back and share some more. I think that's something he's done, or a photo, or.
I'm going to interrupt you here. I've got a copy for myself of I kept a copy of the books that I published. I published about 60 Canadian authors through this writing contest.
Nice.
In these books here.
Name Tales. Okay.
Yeah, that was book 1, book 2, and I changed the genre. This one was for fantasy. This one was for romance and comedy. And this one was for mysteries.
Nice.
And then I went back to fantasy, mysteries, romance.
It's so fascinating to me.
Yeah, and this was the last one I published here. And then I was retiring, so it ended the contest.
So when you've retired a couple of times, it seems like.
Well, I retired from business.
Yeah.
I didn't retire from working. I didn't realize that I would be working just as hard in retirement.
Tell me about it. I do this. This is not a job, like a career in the sense that I get paid. I don't get paid, but I'm busier doing this than ever before when I was working. So, when you're doing something you enjoy, it doesn't even matter, right?
Well, yeah, it's like the writing. I'll be doing that till they put the nails in the coffin. Right?
No, if somebody wanted to order your books, where would they do that?
Well, the easiest way, if you're not in Penticton, is just to go to my website and order them, and I'll ship to anywhere in Canada and the US.
Okay.
I don't ship outside of Canada and the US. It's too expensive.
Especially now with shipping costs even higher, right?
Yeah, it's just not, when it costs twice as much for the shipping as it does for the book.
Yeah.
It's kind of
It's a
pointless.
little crazy. Yeah, for sure. What about your artwork now, your painting? You're still doing that, right?
Yeah, I'm only doing it for my own books.
Okay.
I did some drawings as well. The last one I published, because this was during COVID, I had time on my hands, and I put some drawings inside the book as well.
Right. So now when we finish that, I'm going to get you to send me your website so that I can include it so people can find you that way.
It's pretty easy. David Korinetz. www.davidkorinetz.com.
Okay, nice and easy. That's perfect. Okay, I like easy, and I think a lot of people like easy nowadays. As we get older, some of us get a little lazy-minded. Not saying about myself, no, I do. But anyway, okay, so I'm trying to think of it if we covered anything now. Okay, so I just want to say to date, David, you've written and published 5 novels, right?
Yes.
Now are you still working on your
Necromancer. Yes, I'm working on that now. I'm trying to get it done for next year.
Oh, okay. So
That'll be number 6 in my series.
in your series, okay. And it's all, and that's fantasy series for anybody who's just
Yes.
fantasy, right? You know, I used to read years ago when my son was young. I wish I could remember, but these fantasy books, they were so great. I would buy them for him, but I would read them first and then pass them on to him, you know. Fantasy is so much fun to read, you know, because the mind can go anywhere, right?
Yeah, it's fun to write too.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be, you know, if it's, I'm just thinking about that, if it's as much fun to read as it is to write, what an awesome thing that is. So I like that very much. Well, I think we've covered everything.
One thing I can say, I've written a lot of short stories as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they can pretty much be found on my website. I've got the Wizards blog, and on there I pretty much posted, I think I got 6 or 7 short stories that I've written over the years.
Yeah.
And they vary. There's horror, there's comedy, there's, you know, different things I've tried. 2 of them got honorable mentions in contests. And one of them, which I'm proud of, I've got the plaque, is L. Ron Hubbard's Writers of the Future. I had an honorable mention in that contest. That was quite a while back, but
congratulations. That feels good, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah,
for sure. I mean, it's being acknowledged, right?
Yeah, and that story is on my Wizards blog if anybody wants to read it.
Okay, I'll make sure that people can have your website to go to so they can check those out for themselves. And I hope they do purchase them and read them. So that would be pretty cool.
Well, my books, some of my books are available in some libraries as well. And I encourage people that if your library, if you can't afford or do you want to purchase a book, but you want to read it, check out your library. If they don't have it, ask them to bring one in for you.
Yeah, very good. Okay, that's nice to know too, for sure.
I want to build a readership, so.
Yeah, and that's always nice, isn't it?
Yeah, because I want people to read my books.
Yeah, and
I know that somebody online, my first book, somebody has, I don't know if they did a PDF of it or what they did, but they published an ebook using my book. I don't get anything for that, so it's basically pirated.
There's so many scammers these days.
Yeah, but I take it if they thought it was worth pirating, well, they must have liked the book, right?
Yeah, but it's nice if they acknowledged you, you know, a little bit.
Well, they do. They say it's my name and all that, but I don't receive anything for that. That's somebody is, I don't know where they are, Africa or wherever they are.
Hey, speaking of scams, this week, you know, like a lot of us, people are more and more scammers out there. So my best one was Elon Musk. But I invited him to be in my show, but there was criteria I had to meet. Like I had to invest, I had to buy one of his Teslas. And when I said I wouldn't do that, he said he hated selfish people. It was so much fun. I had so much fun playing with him. And when I finally said to him I was finished playing with him, he called me the F word. Oh, I just had such a laugh. Anyway.
He sounds like a wonderful person.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing better than having a laugh during the day for me anyway. So, but anyway, all right, enough talking. Thank you so much for doing this. I do appreciate you coming on the show. And just hold on. I'm just going to talk to the audience. So, yes, you've been listening to David Korinetz. David Korinetz. I knew I was going to do that. Author, and I'm going to share his website so you can check out his work. And anyway, thanks for watching the show, everybody. Take care and peace out.
A sense of community, Chilliwack's a place to be. A sense of community when you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see.